Bona tarda. Primer de tot, voldria agrair els traductors, and I'm sorry if I'm going to be changing into languages. Moltes gràcies per estar aquí aquesta tarda. So welcome very much, everybody, for this last session with experts that is going to be on education and training on how to prepare the human team for change. In this very dynamic landscape, sorry, I see there is no presentation. No worries, we will do it without presentation. In this very dynamic landscape where technology and innovation are reshaping the world, the professional world, it is more than ever crucial to equip our tourism human capital with the knowledge and skills necessary to thrive. We see more and more that companies, organizations, and governments are working and implementing programs for the digitalization of society. So what is education and training sector doing to empower the current and future human capital with the specific needs of this new era? So to go into this discussion, we will have various questions. Thank you. We'll have various questions I will be answering during the 3 presentations we have this afternoon. So these are some of the questions on how we can empower workers in the tourism sector. How can employers collaborate in creating an engaged, resilient, and qualified workforce that embraces change? How can education and training centers collaborate with these challenges that we have with environment and sustainability, as well as how can education and training assist companies in aligning their corporate values with societal well-being for the benefit of all? And finally, the last question that we could be asking today as well is how can we forge a new path, one that prioritizes education, training, and the well-being of our human capital? So, as I mentioned, I'm Sonia Figueras. Sorry, Gemma mentioned I'm Sonia Figueras. I work for UN Tourism Academy, and we work in sharing knowledge. That's why today we're going to be talking about education and training with these questions that we have just shared right now. We also have 2 quality certifications, one that wishes to professionalize and recognize the quality and excellence of tourism education with TEDQual. It's for tourism study programs. And another one that it's for organizations, destination management organizations that are certified and accompany the DMO into their quality and excellence in the management of the destination. So now I would like to present the speakers that are going to be here today to talk about these questions that we have just seen. We first of all have Maria Avellanet and Imeya, President and CEO of SET's Barcelona School of Tourism, Hospitality and Gastronomy, and a member of various boards, she's including our affiliate members. She actively contributes to the tourism sector in 3 key areas: management, training, and engagement with companies and organizations in the sector. Secondly, I would like to present Franklin Carpenter, Director of Tourism in the consultant company Howarth HTL, and he's member of various boards as well as formerly Director of the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Gastronomy of INACAP in Chile. He's family committed to innovation and sustainability via creative solutions that promote the sustainable, digital, and competitive development of tourism. And we will have a 3rd speaker, David Hailstone, Senior Vice President and COO of Bella Vista Institute of Higher Education. Driven by his passion for sustainability and organizational behavior, he is involved in projects aimed at enhancing the social and environmental impact of the hospitality and tourism industries. So by their hand, we'll be looking at these questions and also very concrete examples. After the presentation, we're hoping to have a bit of time for questions, and so we invite you to go to Mentimeter. Please, you can scan this code, or you can go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and type the code 3706 6399. We will show you this presentation after each presentation, so you can go back to it. Do not hesitate to write down your questions in any of the 4 languages of this Congress, and I will be asking your questions at the end of their presentations. Thank you very much for being here today, and let's start this new session with Maria Avellanet Ibella, who's going to be talking about the main challenges this sector is facing, what is needed, and what SET Barcelona is doing for it. Thank you.
Bona tarda. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Primero de todo, gracias al Gobierno de Andorra y a la UN Tourism por invitarme a este congreso. Para presentar un poco y rápidamente qué es el CET, somos un centro universitario de formación, de investigación y transferencia de conocimiento en turismo, hotelería y gastronomía, adscritos a la Universidad de Barcelona, que damos todos los niveles de formación, también formación profesional, y tenemos un campus universitario que cuenta con un hotel universitario acreditado por la UB y con una residencia de estudiantes. Sin más dilación, me gustaría presentar algunas ideas generales siguiendo la petición que nos ha hecho Sonia. Empezaré diciendo quizá que la formación y el conocimiento son una palanca clave para la sostenibilidad, para la innovación y para el desarrollo de la competitividad de empresas y destinos turísticos. Y, por lo tanto, también para destinos de nieve, de montaña y de bienestar. Son una palanca para conseguir un turismo más resiliente, más regenerativo y, sobre todo, un turismo que tenga un retorno positivo, un impacto positivo para las personas y para el planeta. En este sentido, y un poco recogiendo las demás ponencias que se dieron ayer y que se han dado hoy, la idea el título que le he puesto a la conferencia es un nuevo turismo, un nuevo talento, un nuevo trabajo. Porque está claro, o creo que podríamos estar de acuerdo, que el turismo está inmerso en un contexto de cambio estructural que nos obliga a transitar hacia una nueva economía, como les decía, en beneficio de las personas y del planeta. No perdiendo de vista que el turismo encarna una serie de valores muy importantes como la hospitalidad, como la igualdad, como la inclusión, como el respeto hacia los demás, la atención, el cuidado del territorio, de la cultura de un destino, de la identidad de un destino. Y en este sentido somos un sector atractivo, un sector que puede atraer a personas a trabajar en él si somos capaces de darle esta mirada sostenible y esta mirada de valores tan importantes para las personas. Solamente para ilustrar, no los voy a enumerar, los principales cambios que afectan al turismo. Al turismo, a la sociedad y a los otros sectores económicos también. Por lo tanto, compartimos retos y compartimos responsabilidades. No estamos solos y lo que tenemos que hacer es actuar y ver cómo podemos responder a la nueva realidad climática, a retos de sostenibilidad, al impacto de la tecnología, de la movilidad, etc. Desde mi perspectiva, ¿cómo podemos abordar estos cambios? Sin duda, considerando el talento, las personas formadas como un valor diferencial. ¿El talento qué es? El talento son personas con competencias, con actitudes, porque sí, el turismo también es una actitud y la formación también es una actitud, capacitadas, comprometidas y motivadas para trabajar. El talento es un motor de cambio, es un motor de transformación de la sociedad. No estoy hablando solamente del talento o de la formación inicial, que es muy importante. Hablo también de la formación continua, que aquí el sector tiene un reto yo creo que muy importante. La formación continua a lo largo de la vida, poner en valor la experiencia profesional, que las empresas reconozcan la formación y la experiencia. En definitiva, desarrollar la capacidad de aprender nos permite adaptarnos mucho mejor a un mundo que está en cambio constante. ¿Qué pasa, pues, con la idea de atraer, desarrollar y fidelizar talento que tanto cuesta? Cuesta en turismo y cuesta, como les decía antes, en los otros sectores. Pero el turismo es un sector de personas, un sector de capital humano y, por lo tanto, centrarse en las personas, en los equipos, en los clientes, en la comunidad donde se desarrolla el turismo es muy importante. Yo creo que las personas y, por lo tanto, los profesionales son la solución a los retos del turismo. Eso sí, profesionales preparados, por lo tanto, estamos hablando de calidad del talento, profesionales valorados, estamos hablando de la calidad del trabajo en un sentido amplio, no solo mejores condiciones laborales, sino también más formación, entender el cambio sociológico que se produce en las nuevas y no tan nuevas generaciones, más flexibilidad y, finalmente, profesionales orgullosos, es decir, orgullosos de trabajar en un sector turístico, en un sector de calidad y, por lo tanto, si se da esta triple hélice, yo creo que la idea de atraer personas, desarrollarlas y fidelizarlas será fácil. En un estudio reciente de la Unión Europea sobre talento, falta de talento y de personal cualificado en pequeñas y medianas empresas, un 50% coincidían en que esto dificulta sobre todo el tema de aplicación o de uso de la tecnología digital y también genera más dificultades para ecologizar la actividad empresarial. Dos retos que se plantean en este Congreso y que, por lo tanto, tendríamos que ser capaces de darle la vuelta. Intentaré ir un poco rápido, a ver si me he pasado. Voy a poner algunos ejemplos del CET que los he centrado en innovación, en sostenibilidad y en tecnología y, sobre todo, en un aspecto que también ha sido recurrente y que es muy importante, que es la colaboración entre la universidad, el sector privado y la administración pública. En cuanto a nuevos programas, pues aquí pueden ver un grado nuevo en Digital Business y en innovación en turismo, un máster universitario en innovación en la gestión turística, en emprendeduría y en innovación, en transformación digital. Recientemente hemos sido autorizados como centro integrado de formación profesional en Cataluña y esto significa acreditados para toda la formación profesional, desde la más básica, certificaciones profesionales FP inicial y secundaria y también para la formación continua de empresas y profesionales. Como les decía, la colaboración entre universidad y empresa para nosotros es muy importante. Quiero destacar una cátedra V de turismo que tenemos con el Ayuntamiento de Barcelona desde hace 10 años y donde generamos publicaciones, por ejemplo, basadas en sostenibilidad, generando unos indicadores de sostenibilidad turística de destinos urbanos, temas de turismo gastronómico, temas de uso del patrimonio inmaterial y también de las industrias creativas como activos, como recursos activos para el turismo, o, por ejemplo, el Smart Tourism Congress, que celebramos cada 2 años y colaboramos también con la UN Tourism. Otro tema muy interesante es una colaboración reciente con la Federación Catalana de Campings, el CET, y la Agencia de Formación Continua de la Generalitat de Cataluña. ¿Qué hemos hecho? Nos hemos juntado, hemos hecho una encuesta a todos los campings de Cataluña para detectar necesidades de formación. Las hemos definido básicamente en marketing y comercialización, digitalización y reservas, sostenibilidad y gestión del talento, y hemos planificado un calendario para implantarlas en periodos del año donde pudieran participar los profesionales. Ya casi no me queda tiempo y me gustaría no pasarme, por lo tanto, sobre todo formación y conocimiento claves para este turismo más competitivo, más sostenible, más innovador y sobre todo respetuoso con las personas y con el planeta, y animar a todos a esta colaboración público-privada y con las universidades, que creo que aquí está el futuro para nuevas iniciativas. Muchas gracias.
Moltes gràcies, Maria. Now I'd like to introduce you to Franklin Carpenter, who's going to be talking about how AI, artificial intelligence, can revolutionize sustainability and tourism workforce strategies, and about AI-driven talent development. Gracias, Franklin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. This topic is quite a new one, I guess, for many of us today. Talk about AI in tourism. It's not that new maybe for the industry, and maybe not for other industries, but it's something that we have to connect, and we have to do it quickly, because things are moving really fast. This is a position that I think we shouldn't be in at the moment. Tourism is at a crossroads, yeah? And it's been through this situation many years ago as well. We had a stop in 2020, 2021. We had an opportunity to do things different. We had an opportunity to think different, yeah? To take and make better decisions. But something happened. What happened? What happened that we, again, are in the same situation as what we were living in back in 2019, or up to 2019. A situation where we can see that we're doing an impact in our environment, quite an important impact, and we're producing and we shouldn't be, but we are accelerating climate change, and we're affecting sustainability in some regions and in some cases. Tourism is supposed to foster positive change. It's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be an industry without chimneys, as it used to be said a couple of years ago. But as you can see, and the numbers help us to open our eyes, the things are going the wrong way again. So what should we do? Should we stop again? Should we ask for another pandemic? Should we stay at home and connect again on webinars and try to reflect on what should change? I don't think we want that, don't we? I don't think we want to stop again. We should keep moving forward. But if we keep moving forward in the same pace that we are today, I think that change is not going to be very positive. So what are we going to do? We know what we have to do, yeah, because we discussed all these issues when we were at home or in front of our webcams. We knew that we had to move towards a more regenerative, collaborative, and interconnected model of tourism, of doing things differently. And to do that, we had to foster renewable energy, technological transformation, digitalization, intelligent infrastructure, circular economy, and foster G-locals, yeah, in local areas with a global thought of how to do things better. But this, unfortunately, didn't happen. Well, there's a thing that has appeared recently. Well, not that recently, but it's been with us for a couple of months. And I guess most of you have met AI and have interacted with it. Let me see your hands. How many of you have interacted with the generative AI? Let's say ChatGPT, Bard, Gemini. Yeah? Yeah? Would we say all of you, but maybe not all of you? Yeah? How many of you interact with these technologies or with generative AI on a weekly basis? Daily basis? How many of you use it at your workplace, for example? Does anybody work with AI? Yeah? Good. Well, it should be something that we should consider, because statistics say that by 2025, 95% of workplace, professional workplace, will be commanded by AI. And you might think that sounds a bit weird or something that might not happen, but it's going to happen, and it's going really quickly, and it might even happen earlier on. So there's something that we have to do. Well, I'm from Horvat, which is a consultancy firm, and we've been thinking, reflecting, talking, discussing, looking back, trying to look forward with what has to be done and what can be done in order to foster sustainable tourism. How could we help destinations be more sustainable? How could we help destinations move forward in their objectives, in what they've proposed for themselves for the future? There are many techniques, and maybe there are many frameworks and manners of doing things, but we've come up with an idea. We've come up with this framework. This framework outlines how to leverage AI to empower sustainable tourism. I'm not going to go through the whole framework, but it has 9 components, all of which are in some way related and powered by AI. And the point is that we've already experienced that just relying on ourselves, we're not moving really fast, and we should be moving faster. So maybe AI can help us move faster. And I do believe that AI can help us move faster. So how do we foster it? How can we help it move it the way we need it to move? Well, this framework, we could say that it twofolds, okay? First, it harnesses AI to help tourism operations be more sustainable, be more competitive, and do it in a much healthier way. It also tries to help destinations reduce their environmental impact. And secondly, it also can help destinations empower and build a stronger, more resilient workforce. How does it do it? Well, it doesn't do it magic. It needs our help. It needs us to connect with it. It needs us to connect with the reality of each destination and with the needs of each destination. The good thing is that AI can do things that we might take much longer time to do. It could shorten it. It makes us much more efficient. It makes us much more effective. It helps us have a brighter and wider picture of what's going on in our destination. But there are issues for this to work and for this to be implemented, and that it can be also sustainable in the future. And one of those issues is workforce. Because if we don't have the right workforce to implement these changes using AI, then we won't be able to move forward. So we have to reskill, we have to upskill the workforce so they can adapt and they can adopt these technologies. But, and something that's really important, they don't have to be experts, data scientists, or programmers, not anymore. Because the good thing about AI, because there's lots of things that scare us, but the good thing about AI is that today it's democratized. Many activities or things that we before thought we would never be able to do. And now we can do them. Today we can help businesses that don't have enough employees to maybe do all what's needed for their business to excel, do it using the AI correctly. So If we do not upskill or reskill the workforce, then unfortunately, these kind of frameworks are not just referring to this framework, but any kind of framework won't work. And what we don't want to do is, or what we don't want, is AI to adopt us to do things. We have to adopt AI to help us move forward. This framework has helped us also to look into and reflect on how to develop the talent that's needed. And we've looked into this development cycle, which is AI-driven, and it also has different steps that are not really out of this world. They're things that we might come across commonly, normally, but powered by AI, today, this can happen, and change can happen. My time is finishing. Also, workforce commitment, community commitment. If we can move forward quicker, communities will see that we're doing our job properly, and they will also want to engage and be part of this and understand that sustainable tourism is for their benefit also. So AI today, my dear friends, is a way, not maybe the only way, but today has presented itself as a way for us to foster a better tourism and for everybody. Everybody today can have access to a better future, to a better work, to a better profession in tourism, and this we have to assimilate and we have to move forward quickly, otherwise others will do it for us, and we don't want AI to do that for us. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Franklin. Now we have David Hailstones, who is going to be talking about change and the management of change. Thank you so much. Please remember to write your questions in Mentimeter. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you on this stage with these great presenters today that have been before me and all of the other presenters that have been here these past 2 days. The whole organization putting this together is for one focus, to put the tourism, how we can put things together for a better future. And you're all here today, and we appreciate you. I want to talk about perspective. The perspective of life, how we see things. And life is about passing on knowledge. And that's why we're here. Whether it be a mother and a father passing on knowledge to a child, how to live a good life, or to a manager passes on knowledge to a supervisor who passes on to the team, a chef learning knowledge, how to pass that on to a junior sous chef, etc., etc. We move then on to communities, to regions, to countries, global, passing on knowledge. But how everybody sees the knowledge is a different perspective and a different way of looking at things. And that's the problem. It's a problem that we can't solve, but communities can. It means, we discussed this already with panelists, that the public has to work a lot closer with public and private industry. The sharing of knowledge in communities, in tourism, comes through education and data. We cannot make decisions of everybody's future if we don't have the data to prove we're on the right direction. And that's one of the perspectives. Everyone sees something different. So let me take this as an example. What's the first thing you see there? Do you see the young lady? Or do you see the old lady? What was the first thing you seen straight away? And that's the perspective I'm talking about. Depending on your experience and knowledge, when you look at problems in the world, or you look at the problems in your dining room, in your restaurant, in your coffee shop, in your region, in your toilet facilities for your customers, wherever the challenges are, how you see those challenges is different than other people will see them. And that's the conundrum, is that Young people will generally, in my experience, see the young lady first of all, because they see the feather, and they think, oh, that's nice. But when you see the old lady, they go, oh, I didn't notice that. In a perspective, it's quite interesting that younger people see the young lady first. When I taught 480 Zimbabwe high school students, this is one of the slides that I showed them. There was another one with a basketball and white people, but this one is a deep one that keeps on coming through to show a perspective of what is a challenge for the community, et cetera, but what is the challenge for you? The challenge is developing through education a different way of perspective. I come from an education background, education leadership, but I also come from the hospitality industry. I grew up in award-winning 5-star hotels. I've worked in Michelin star restaurants, etc. So I've seen that side of the world. And that side of the world is on detail and that customer. And I remember, I never cared about anything outside of that restaurant. Everything was inside that restaurant. Later on in education, you realize about cross-cultural learning. Because the world is flat since 2000. When the White House became computerized, that became the first time the world was flat and communication could pass quicker. And this is why we have a little bit of a conundrum in education, not especially, but with AI, I believe we can find a way to trap that and nourish that to make decisions in the future. However, we've moved in a state where a lot of colleges, a lot of private institutes, they still buy textbooks with questions at the end of the chapter, and the answers are in the back of the book. This day and age is not about giving questions and answers. This day is right now. So challenging the perspective is to see what the challenges are and using the tools we have at hand, which is the young generation, in my perspective. Who wants change? Everyone puts the hand up. I've done this time after time with students. I had a campus with 300 students, and we were talking about plastic bottles. Everyone wants change, yes, but now you have to bring the plastic bottle downstairs, the hands come down. People say they want to change. Words are cheap, but actions are more difficult. Some people don't get that perspective. But who's going to lead the change? And leadership has changed. The leader on who's asking the question, the future leader is not up there. They're down there amongst them. In 2008, I read a report by Dr. Abegg, 2008, about it was proven through science that 100 days of snow would make good business for the businesses to make business. 100 days of snow. And since 2008, this one here is 2022, it is proven that snow days are going. But the industries are moving too slow. So we need to find a way to speed up getting ready for the surprises. And the physics is saying, and it's proven, that if we use man-made snow, it would harm the environment for whatever comes in the future. In a small ski resort called Sorenberg in Switzerland, they've gone from 100 days snow down to 54 days. That's nearly 50% of the days. And they started to put the prices of the missing days onto the ski price. So then they started to lose even more customers. But the point here in education and training, how do we teach the younger generation to see this challenge? The report that was mentioned the other day, the 2023, it shows that we are making progress. We are. We're doing great things. Data proves it. It must be right. We have great people here talking, and we have great people coming to see, and we will have action. But we still need training, and we still need education to make it, nurture it, move it forward. This is the problem. Technology is hurting younger people, and that's our future people in the industry. Mental health, influencing. But the generations X and Y, they just need to be challenged. They need to be part of something. The data shows that younger generations want to be part of their future. They want a say. But the older generations are telling what to do and not asking. That's where education comes in. And we are developing these frontal areas to represent the frontal global text of the brain. It is a problem, and we see it. Right now, it's becoming a phenomenon that younger generations are looking at the phone instead of an interaction with the family. In services now, like Hilton, Savoy, they take away the phones at the door, so no employee is allowed phones. There has to be a way. That's not the answer, taking the phone away. The answer is to challenge them and give them things to do that they're part of their own future. Again, that's where education comes in, working with the private and public sector. When you go to the older generation in restaurants for change, example, Saudi Arabia, 6-day work week. The 6-day work week doesn't allow the employee to grow, doesn't allow the employee to grow their education or their self-development, because that one day they're doing the washing and nothing else. So the older generation is holding the new generation back. The 4-day work week is only for certain industries. However, if we could use mobile education and timing, we can make some sort of difference in pilot projects with companies that want to work and make the difference. The 1% rule by the Olympic cycling team, they change 1% of every part of their function. And with the 1%, they went from no gold medals to 9 gold medals by changing 1% of every part of the value chain of cycling. Imagine changing 1% of a restaurant, a hotel, a region, a tourism destination, 1%. An example, why would they look at the tire of a bicycle when the bicycle is already running? They looked at it. They looked at every part of the value chain of a cycle, even to the part where the cyclist is sleeping. They give every cyclist a pillow. Here's several of the parts I've just mentioned within the 10 minutes. More than happy to talk to people later. But I think the future is education is changing in the direction, and the public area sectors have to work together. It's on their own interest. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great Change Day. Bye.
Thank you very much, David, for your presentation. So we have been listening to the three of you, and we have seen that there is a need in change and how we can do it, and also how the artificial intelligence can participate in this. So we have a couple of questions we can ask now for this session. One would be, how can the education and training sector help to act on that change that is needed? Please.
That's a good question. I think, first of all, we don't want to make it complicated. We want to keep things simple at the beginning and collect the data, start pilot projects, use definitely project management. The Institute of Project Management has frameworks to help. And I think having the frameworks and the right people in place can ask the right questions, and the solutions can come from there. But there has to be a connection, and there has to be a framework.
Thank you.
Desde mi punto de vista, y lo ligaría un poco con el propósito de CET, es ser una comunidad de aprendizaje, una comunidad, no tanto unidireccional, abierta, colaborativa, en la que se forja el talento responsable que es capaz de promover los cambios que comentabas, David. Es decir, la formación no debe ser solamente lo que se necesita para hoy, sino desarrollar mentalidades preparadas para generar los cambios que se necesitan y que se van produciendo. No son saltos gigantes al vacío, sino que hay que estar preparado, entrenado. Como ir al gimnasio, pues formarse cada día, y hay muchas maneras de hacerlo.
Y con el 1%, with the 1%.
Sí, considero que todos hoy día nos vemos desafiados con el cambio, y el cambio viene de manera muy acelerada, y la IA es quizás uno más de los cambios, pero que es un cambio importante y que desde los centros de educación de alguna forma tienen que ver cómo se adapta a este cambio importante que viene y que va a seguir siendo quizás aún más rápido. Entonces, tratar de llevar el mismo ritmo no va a ser fácil, quizás imposible, pero sí tienen que quizás cambiar la forma en lograr que los estudiantes y futuros profesionales se adapten a los cambios, a que puedan, ¿cierto?, ser mucho más adaptables, sin perder su identidad, sin perder su propósito, pero saber de que el mundo es cambiante y los cambios cada vez son más frecuentes.
Desde la Academia de la OMT podemos apoyar en esos cambios con cursos que nos piden ministerios de turismo del mundo entero, y si hay esa necesidad estamos a su disposición. We have another question. How does the education and training sector see the importance of partnerships? Because we have heard about the partnerships for the last 2 days between the public and private sector, but I would also like to add the academic sector. So how can the education and training sector how does it see this importance, and how does it work for this? Please. María?
Yo creo que el sector académico no puede trabajar sin estar en contacto y colaborando con el sector privado en un sentido amplio, y no solo el turístico, sino todo el sector, toda la cadena de valor que va mucho más allá de la actividad estrictamente turística, y con la administración pública y de los destinos, y además ser exigentes, pero a la vez generar proyectos. Yo he mostrado algunos y habría más, generar proyectos y que seamos capaces de ver que es posible esta colaboración. O sea, que si se hace fácil, es posible encontrar este camino de colaboración.
Gracias.
Sí. La academia es un actor clave para lograr los cambios que requiere la industria. Es el espacio donde se permite la reflexión, donde se permite el probar, ¿cierto?, el de testear, y que las empresas y la industria y el sector, tanto público como privado, necesita para poder conocer resultados, posibilidades, oportunidades que ellos pueden ir implementando. La academia cumple un rol clave para el futuro. Yo creo que hoy día tiene esa posibilidad de poner más en valor esa contribución que puede hacer para lograr los cambios que se necesitan en el turismo. Hablemos del turismo montaña, y un caso muy cercano que me tocó vivir en Chile, un programa de turismo de montaña que partió solo en una región, pero que prontamente y rápidamente se expandió a otras regiones del país. Hoy día es un programa que cubre 16 puntos estratégicos de turismo de montaña, y que claramente solo el sector público, solo el sector privado por sí solo no lo va a poder abordar. Requiere de la academia, y en gran parte ha sido la academia que ha permitido que este crecimiento sea positivo, sostenible en el tiempo, y que trate de conseguir y buscar los objetivos que se han puesto.
I think it's important to have communities, example Andorra, where the community is linked very closely to their future workforce, sharing in case studies of problems where young people can help share solutions that is linked to education. The traditional method of exams, so they pass. But having case studies and finding solutions that could be put into real life solutions and will give younger people a more understanding of their environment, therefore becoming a belonging to the solutions that could be created. Education should become, and is becoming, more of a nurturer. Teachers, their names teachers, are becoming coaches now and mentors. So it's no longer classrooms you sit and listen, it's now a discussion. Challenge-based learning is an example. So in challenge-based learning, you give the student a challenge and they have to find a way to teach themselves to find the solution. But there is never right now a solution that goes straight into the industry. because the industry is too busy to listen. So that's the challenge also. At the end of the day, the show must go on. Restaurant must make money to keep the lights on. However, there must be a time when they have to breathe. In order to breathe, then they can reflect about how much to give back to the local community and where their future workforce comes from and how communities can be built as well.
Thank you so much. So if there are any more questions, the speakers will be here after this session. Do not hesitate to contact them directly, as there is another session after this one. I would just like to ask each one of you if you have any last message you would like to share with everybody. Is that good?
Yes, I would.
Please.
I was a bit surprised when I didn't see many hands go up when I asked if you've used ChatGPT or any similar applications. I think it's necessary. I think we have to embrace what's happening around us. And AI has arrived and it's going to stay with us, I guess, forever. And for this industry, I think it can give us a helping hand. It can help us move forward faster, as I said before, and it could help us in our workplace to resolve situations, problems that on our own we've not been able to do before. And today we have a chance to do it and maybe do it better. That's it.
Thank you so much.
For myself, I just think Andorra has a lot to offer anybody coming for the first time. And that comes from the people, the religion, where you all come from here and what you've developed, which is very special. The next challenge is to hold on to that and make sure that moves forward together with the future, the children behind you. And it's also good to reflect upon decision-making, how decision-making happens in any area of whether it be family or schools, etc., how that has an effect on the bigger community and the bigger picture. But I think Andorra has a beautiful place, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. ¿Ya está?
Yo solamente insistir en algunos conceptos, pero sobre todo que el turismo es un sector estratégico magnífico que genera muchísimas oportunidades en muchos destinos, en comunidades grandes y no tan grandes, y que por lo tanto es importante mantenerlo y que sea regenerativo y que sea sostenible. Que el turismo son personas, por lo tanto, con talento, que estén orgullosas de trabajar en este sector, que estén preparadas en distintos niveles para trabajar en este sector y en empresas que valoren su trabajo y su formación y en colaboración, pues todos juntos para un sector mejor.
And actually we have seen this here with the last 2 days. We've had amazing organizers. We would like to thank them. They've been really, we have heard about quite a few people that they thank very much the organizers, and the government in Andorra has been very welcoming. And I'm just sharing this message from quite a few other people. Thank you very much as well for the speakers. You've been very generous, and we thank you very much for the knowledge that you have shared with us. Thank you.
Thank you.